In this training, I'm going to give you 3 specific steps that you can use to get more dates from high quality, attractive women. And this training is really going to be for you if you are a logical guy. So if you're someone who's already got it all figured out, and if you're kind of emotionally tuned in to women and you get the idea and you understand how all this works and you've got a thriving dating life, this is not for you. But if you've had a couple dates, if you've dated a few girls here and there, you're successful, you're working hard, but you're really logical, which means you don't really get the energy behind these things a lot of times, and you like to think in terms of systems and in terms of processes in a way that can be easily explained to you, this training is going to be for you. So we're not going to waste time. We're just going to jump right into it. I want to explain something. A lot of people believe that getting good with girls comes from being able to hook up with women from clubs. They believe that, like, if I want to build the dating life of my dreams, if I want to have women attracted to me, if I want to crush it in dating in this year, I'm going to have to go out and make sure I take girls home the same night. And this is a bit of a misconception. The reason why is because building a dating life where you have really attractive women in your life doesn't come down to being able to take girls home from clubs. And this is because of 2 reasons. Number one, taking girls home from clubs, although it's fun in the moment, the sex tends to, depending on who you are and what your experience has been, generally the sex tends to be not as good and there's less of a connection, so you don't see those girls again. So even if it's a really cool, high quality chick, odds are, not every time, again, I want to specify, not always, because I've dated girls that I've brought home same night, but odds are if you meet a girl from the nightclub and you take her home same night and that's your primary focus, you're not going to be really meeting girls from the context of I want to spend time with you and I want to bring you into my life. Doesn't even mean it has to be a relationship, but just the context is going to be cut a little bit short. And number 2, going out at night is just exhausting, right? So if you want to meet girls and have a dating life where you meet a lot of cool women, the way to go is by setting up dates, which is why to every person I work with, all the guys I consult with, the focus we always have is how can you get more dates. So let's actually look at why. But before we get into it, I want to tell you to press the subscribe button. If you want to get more results in your dating life, and if you are ready to take the way you interact with women to the next level and master communication, this channel right now is the best place to be. Trust me, you are in the best place for this, because I've been consulting for men for over 5 years now, and I've had hundreds of successful clients, and I've gotten over 45 case studies, successful case studies in just the last 2 years alone of guys who've gone through the system and have crushed it. So I'm going to give that all to you here for free. So if you'd like to be a part of this and learn more and grow rapidly in your dating life, press the red subscribe button, press the notification bell so you know when I upload videos and it actually comes right to you. And press the like if you want to just help me out so more people can see this training. All right, let's get into it. So the first question is, why do you not have more dates? And this is a thing that needs to be answered. Well, the biggest reason I always see when I work with guys who don't have enough dates and they're going out and, meeting women here and there, they're being social, they're interacting with girls regularly, but they don't have a lot of dates to show for it. And by a lot, I mean like maybe 1 to 2 dates every week. That's not tons of dates, but that's enough for you to have a pretty thriving dating life. Going on 1 to 2 dating dates a week, ideally 2, but you may not have time for all that. So 1 to 2, depending on the week. The reason why I've seen most guys don't have more dates is because they're settling and they're happy for good interactions that go nowhere, but that validate their ego. That's the big problem. So what this means is that you interact with women and you have good interactions. Maybe you get a phone number. Maybe the girl likes you and you guys talk on Instagram for a while, or maybe you connect with her, like I said, over social media, but it doesn't go anywhere. Well, this is a problem that a lot of guys face because we think that we're going to have great interactions with women and that's going to lead to something. But having a great interaction in the moment is not necessarily how you set up dates. In fact, whenever I work with guys who want to start getting more dates, and whenever I see a shift from a guy who has no dates to a guy who starts getting dates, it's never because his interactions became better. It's always because he followed a process and a system to actually help him set up dates and simply get more of them. So I'm going to give you that system here, but first thing you have to do is let go of the ego around having good interactions. Like, if you really care about girls liking you a lot, you're going to be setting yourself up for failure. So the primary goal, even when I go out and meet girls, when I go out and socialize, when I'm out with clients, my goal is never have girls like me. My goal is always interact with women from a place that's extremely authentic to me, and then set up actual dates and make plans and lead women. That's my goal. I don't really care if they like me. Now, I assume they're going to like me, and if you're going through life and girls don't like you, then you have a problem. But the goal isn't so that women can like you. Like, the goal of you interacting with women and building a dating life isn't to get validation from girls liking you. So let go of that ego. The second thing you need to do is you have to understand the nature of competitive dating. You have to understand how competitive modern dating actually is. This is absolutely crazy. So there's something that exists that I call the dating economy. And you could imagine this to be basically a pool where everyone is interacting with each other in pretty much any major city. And this is any major city you go to. There's variations depending on where you are in the world. There's variations depending on how large the area you live in is, right? So let's say you live in middle America, like the middle of Kansas, like some small fucking town in nowhere, Kansas. I hope if you're living in a small town in fucking nowhere, Kansas, then no offense to your town. But, let's say you're living in the middle of nowhere in America. Well, you living there, you're going to have a slightly different dating experience than if you were living, let's say, in LA, or if you were living in, let's say, London, or if you were living in Bali. Your dating experience is going to be different depending on the environment that you're in, but there still are basic rules to understanding the dating economy. The dating economy is basically this marketplace where we're all interacting as men and women. This exists for people that are in heterosexual relationships, people that are in homosexual relationships. It exists, but I'm speaking to guys who want to meet women. So, this dating economy basically comes down to women being the people who have the asset, which is the vagina, which is sex, and they're the gatekeepers, and men doing what they can to access that and acquire sex. Now, you have to understand that because of social media, the dating economy, as it exists nowadays, it gives women three things that are really, really difficult to understand if you're not playing the game the right way. So first of all, it gives women more choices. It gives them more choices so that they can actually access more men and different kinds of men. So they have more options. That's number one. Number two is it gives them more access. Like I said, it gives them access. So the men that they are attracted to, like let's say some kind of high value influencer or a guy who looks like a high value influencer, she now has access to that guy, whereas she wouldn't have maybe 20 or 30 years ago before social media came on, right? So dating has shifted from the years of our parents. Before it was just be yourself, be nice, you'll meet a girl in high school, go to the local bar, club, hang out with a couple girls. No one really knows what your value is. No one really knows who you are. Whereas nowadays it's like, let me see what you're presenting on Instagram, how many followers you have, where you've traveled to, where you've been, the quality of your photos, how well you dress, are there girls in your stories or your photos, are there not? And that contributes to your position as a man in this dating economy. And then we've got number three, there's more freedom. So because there's more choices and there's more access, women also have more freedom to decide to date how they want. So you're in this very competitive landscape, and I'll be honest, it doesn't help you. Like, this is not something that's going to help you unless, of course, you understand how to use this landscape to your advantage, which is where guys like myself come in. Which I've learned how to use this landscape to my advantage, which has given me massive freedom in my dating life to travel and attract women how I want, to have an amazing partner who's super quality, but at the same time still meet women and as I travel, connect with girls in different places, because I understand how to play the game of this economy, whereas many guys don't do that. But here I'm going to open your eyes up and enlighten you to the secrets of the dating economy. So there's 3 steps you can use to actually set up dates the right way and start getting crazy good results when it comes to dating and have women meet you and all that jazz. So step number 1, and this is the first thing to use, is you have to find your competitive edge. What are the assets that work best for you? You need 3 of these assets. There's 3 specifically. You can have 1 that you're insanely good at, but you're still going to be limited. So there's 3 assets you need to build. By your competitive edge, what I mean is this. Every single guy that I've ever worked with, I've always found that they had 1 or 2 assets that they could work with and build upon, right? Some of these assets could be things like communication skills. It could be things like having good looks. It could be money. Money's an asset as well. It could be access or your circle, who you know. It could be your overall assertiveness and confidence, and it could be things like a soft skill or a talent. Like, let's say you're a really good dancer, that's an asset. So what these assets are things that set you apart from all the other guys. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're better than them, because to be better than everyone, that's just extremely difficult and takes years and takes you being, to be honest, an exceptional person. But the chances of you doing that are very rare. So you're not really going to be that crazy high value. It's never really going to happen. Now, you can increase your perceived value, which is another concept we talk about, perceived value versus actual value, but that's for another training at another time. But you can increase the value that women perceive you as having. You can do that, but the way you do that is by increasing the assets that you have. So assets means your assets in this dating economy, right? So what assets are you working with? So as an example, one of my assets that I have in the dating economy is my looks. So when a girl comes up to me and she interacts with me, because my looks have been tailored to be that of an attractive man, a woman is more likely to rank me as higher than a guy who doesn't look cool. Whereas I know I look cool. I have cool hair. I've got tattoos. I talk about this in a lot of my videos. If you've seen me, any of my previous trainings, you know I talk about this, right? So I've got the asset in terms of looks. I also dress pretty uniquely. I don't dress so crazy now, but I have quite a good good style. I wear like cool necklaces, I've got, like I said, tattoos, I wear cool shirts, things like that. It's a minimal style, but it looks cool, it's well fitted. I have a cool coat that I wear, things like that. So that's one example, how I look, my presentation, my features in terms of what I'm presenting to women in terms of looks. Another asset that I use is my communication skills. So the way I communicate is really assertively towards women. I communicate super assertively, and I'm never thrown off guard in how I communicate or share information. And what happens, women respond to me in a really positive way because of this. So if there's a guy, let's say a guy who has money, right? Because this happens to me. I go out to a lot of high-end venues and places where there's a lot of guys who have a lot of value in terms of cash. So I'll be in the same place as this guy. He'll have money, and I have money too. Not lots of money, like definitely a fraction of what these really wealthy guys have. I'm not wealthy or even rich, but I'll go out to a place where there's a guy who's got money, but I'll be a better communicator than him, and I'll look cooler. So now, who's going to be able to set up a date with the girl? Me, because I'm going to set an emotional impact with her. And because I interact with her from a place where I'm creating emotional impact, whereas he's not, because of the assets that I have and that I've built. It took me a long time to build these fucking assets. You should have seen how I looked 5 years ago or 6 years ago. No, like 7 years ago at this point. Damn, it's 2022. Anyway, the way that I used to look, I didn't have any of these assets, right? So some assets you could have, like I said, are communication skills, looks, money, access and circle, assertiveness and confidence, and then a soft skill or a talent. So you need to build 3 of these. And what you can do is an audit right now. You could pause the video, pick up your notebook. I have here my trusty notepad where I script out everything, and this is like my trusty notebook. Take out your notebook and write down what your current assets are. So what do you have working for you? Again, if I'll do mine, it's my looks and how I present myself. It's also, I wouldn't put access and circle right now because I don't have a big circle. I keep it very small right now. But it's also, I would put money in there as an asset as well, because I have the money to do fun things to some extent. I have money to do that, so I put that as a minor asset. Another one is, again, my communication skills. Another one is leadership. I know how to create specific experiences for women and bring them into those experiences. That's another one that I would write. And general confidence, but to be honest, I'm not the most confident person. Even before talking to women, I feel massive amounts of anxiety half the time. That's the truth. So, and that's okay, right? The goal is not to always be the most confident person. So what are your assets and what's your competitive edge? You need to write this down so you can know it and you can maximize those things. And if there's big things you're missing, all right, like let's say you're a great communicator, let's say you've got some money, and let's say that you're generally a confident person, you might need to add in looks, because those 3 things are actually enough, even if you're like subpar in looks. But if you're very bad in one of these things, it can hurt you. So you don't want to be bad in one of these. You just want to make it where all of them are okay, but then you have 3 that are really good and that really stand out. And then there's more that I haven't named here, but those are things that you can determine and find on your own. All right, step number 2 is to come from what we call a screening position and get information so you know where to take the interaction. You don't want to do something that we call floating, and I'll explain what that is. So a screening position basically means that you're interacting with every girl you talk to, it's like that you seriously talk to, from a place of, am I going to go on a date with this girl, right? A lot of guys mess this up because, and when I consult with guys and we go on live programs or they're part of our mastery program, what I see with a lot of guys is they've been interacting with women without intention. So they're going into interactions, and the interaction, although it's like, it starts off okay, it's a decent interaction, and the girl may be attracted to them, there is no intention to actually move this interaction to a specific place. And this might be happening with you. If you're interacting with women, and this is not even a principle only for women, it's a business principle too, but if you're interacting with women and there isn't an intention to go somewhere and do a thing, you're not going to be getting dates. Like, I'm not even kidding with you. You could be an average guy, you could be a logical, boring guy. There's nothing wrong with being logical. I'm very logical myself. That's my background. So you could be a boring, logical person who doesn't have so many things going for him. But if you interact with women with the intention of setting up a date and doing a thing, you have a much bigger advantage than the guy who doesn't do that. The guy who doesn't do that isn't going to have the same advantage you do. The reason why is because you're interacting with massive intention and massive purpose. So when you interact with women this way, they respond to match that purpose and to match that intention. So what I do is, part of the screening position is I get information so that I know where to take the interaction and I don't just float. You don't want to be floating in your interactions where you're interacting and it's kind of like, I'm just here doing this because I should be in an interaction. You want your interactions to have direction, to have purpose, and to have flow. Don't float. So a couple questions to ask yourself. Number one, what area is the girl in? Or not even yourself, you ask her these. What area is she in? Where does she stay? You don't have to ask her address, but ask her where she's in. Also, what is her schedule like week to week? Is she, working a lot? When is she generally free? Is it Fridays? Is it weekends like Saturday and Sunday? Also, talk about the relationship she's in. Is she in any relationships? Did she just get out of a relationship? Was she seeing a guy recently, or is she single? Get clear on that, right? A lot of guys don't ask this, so what happens if you get a number and she's like, I'm currently talking to someone, or you get her Instagram and you see on her Instagram when you scroll, like there's a guy she's tagged in a few photos. Fucking sucks. It's not fun. So get information so that this doesn't happen to you. And then what I also do, number 4, is give your own information. So I don't just get information from the girl and accept it for what it is at face value. I also get my own information from her, so I understand here's how I have to interact with this girl, and here's what she's going to give me as I meet her. So I give her my information and she gives more back to me. So it's not just me getting information, but it makes it feel normal for her when you give back information. So if I ask a girl where she's from, an example of this, I'll say, what area do you stay? I stay over in, near the High Line on 33rd Street, a bit up like Midtown area. I stay there near the on the west side. I haven't lived in New York for a while, by the way, so excuse me if I'm messing up my New York areas, but I live there. So I'll tell her that information, and she's more likely to give me back her information now because I just volunteered mine. So it's give and take. And step number 3, this is the most important one. Like, I can't stress to you how important this is. This is the most important step. Get commitment in the moment. Don't try to make this work over text. Now, what I will say is this. I want to be really clear. There are guys I know that are masters at handling shit over text and are good at turning things around over text. That is not me. I'm an above average texter when it comes to meeting women because I've spent years mastering this skill. So like, why the fuck wouldn't I be above average? I've texted hundreds of, maybe thousands, but hundreds to thousands of girls. But I don't focus on that. My focus actually is, what do I do in the middle of the interaction, in the moment? What do I do in the middle of the interaction to make it so that when I do text her, everything is really easy? There's actually a guy, fucking love this kid. He's crushing it right now. He just joined our dating mastery program, and he had basically been experiencing this problem where he was getting cancellation after cancellation. He's really good at meeting girls during the day, and he's a really hardworking kid, super logical guy, but really good at hardworking and really a very intelligent person. And he meets a lot of girls during the day, and they have these great interactions where they're laughing and it's fun and it's ha ha ha, but then the interaction will just go nowhere afterwards, and he'll get her number or Instagram, and every girl's too busy to see him, way too busy to see him. But we shifted something where I said, you need to start interacting with women with more commitment. And now that he's interacting with women with more commitment, literally the first interaction he had after our call, because he gets sessions as part of our dating mastery, the first interaction he had after this call, literally went on a date with her during the day, like an instant date, and they end up going on a date the next day or 2 or 3 days later. And it just went amazing. He wrote up a report for our group to break down what happened. So this is an example of that. He shifted from, the reason it worked for him is he shifted from interacting with women from a place of like fun, and I'm just in this because it's a good interaction and to provide the girl a good time, to instead I'm interacting more with intention and more with purpose and clarity. So the interactions are not going to flake. She's not going to cancel on me. She's not going to not take it seriously because I wasn't entertaining her. There actually was purpose. There actually was direction. All right. So what you want to do is make plans that have meaning. This is how you get commitment. Make plans that have meaning. So are you down to go do a thing? Are you down to do something? Because I'm free Friday. I'm free on Friday. Sometimes I'll even put it in my calendar. I'll tell girls I'm going to put this in my calendar and they'll agree to it. Number 2 is get her agreement or her non-agreement. So sometimes girls won't agree, and that's fine. I don't need girls to agree with me to go on a date. But sometimes she will, and most of the time she should. If she doesn't have a relationship or something going on in the background of her mind, she should be down to go on a date with you, right? So when I have a girl that's down and she's like, yeah, it'll be fun spending time with you, what am I going to do? I'm going to set up a solid date. And me setting up a solid date with her, what does that look like? What does that sound like? It's like, are you actually down to go grab drinks on Friday? She says yes. Oh, are you sure you're really down? And she's like, yeah, I'm totally down. Okay, cool. That's really awesome. I'm super busy, but I'll make time for you. So on Friday, I'll shoot you a text and we'll meet up, and I'll let you know what the plan is. So you do that, and your dates are going to be solid. Women are going to understand this is a guy that I'm committing to meet. I'm not just interacting with him for fun. It's not like, oh, this is a fun interaction and we'll see where it goes. There's actually a solid intention to get somewhere in this interaction, okay? And then you follow up with women. Make sure your follow-up game is strong. Shoot them texts, send them messages, things like that. Make sure you're following up and you're not actually letting it die, because a lot of men do this. I've had some guys like this. They'll come to me, they'll join a program, and they don't have dates, but there's girls they're texting here and there, and I'm like, bro, this girl is waiting for you to text her back. Why didn't you just set up a date? I'm like, I didn't think about it. Okay, well, start thinking about it, and you want to start setting up dates really strongly. All right, I hope this process made sense, and I want to go further with you. I'm going to go even deeper here. I'll give you one little, I guess, piece of advice, something that I would tell you that's going to change a lot of stuff for you. The best way to learn any of this, all the stuff I'm teaching you about setting up dates, creating a high value lifestyle, adding assets to your life, learning how to get commitment from girls, leadership, planning, all this stuff, it's better when you just don't do it by yourself. Like for years, I tried doing dating by myself. I tried doing business by myself. I tried doing fitness by myself. And I'll tell you this, I made progress, but the progress I made was so slow, and I wasted so much time and money investing in small things, trying to do it on my own, little books, little teachings here and there. But when I just got a mentor in each of these fields, in each of these aspects, I paid like $25,000 for a business mentor. I've invested in my fitness. I've invested thousands in my fitness and accountability coaches, things like that. Me investing in myself and actually learning a certain system that was given to me directly by a mentor is what changed everything and helped me create the exact kind of lifestyle that I want, which I'm living right now. I'm still growing, but I'm living the lifestyle that I want. So here's what I'll tell you. If you're serious about getting results in your dating life, and you're tired of it being all flaky and being up and down, you having unanswered questions, and you really just want women to be deeply attracted to you and want you, and I mean beyond just want, like fucking love you for who you truly are, I made this cool training. It's a training that breaks down a 4-part system for how you can meet women and bring them into your life, literally effortlessly. And this training then leads to a call where you can book a call, a discovery call with myself or someone on my team, and we'll let you know about how we can actually help you see where you are in your dating results and give you an action plan for you to get to the next level and start bringing women into your life literally this winter without going out in the freezing cold and approaching a bunch of girls, doing a bunch of weird pickup stuff, being manipulative, going out and approaching hundreds of chicks like during the day and at night. Fuck all that. That's unnecessary. But we're going to give you a basic system for how you can do this. So if you would like to learn this, start by watching my training. And hey, if you already trust me and you don't need the training and you're like, fuck, how can I find out more about how to actually grow? Set up a call with myself or my team, and we're going to get you started and see if you'd be a good fit to work with us and be a part of our system. Simple as that, okay? You're awesome. All the links are down below. You can click on them, all the links to this, to check out what we have and just look for this call or watch our training is down below. I appreciate you. I'm happy that you gave me your time, and I hope that I was able to contribute something to your dating life. I'll see you on our next training. Ciao.